up, guys? Today we're gonna be reacting to when revenge went way too far. Okay, this is my Indian voice. Why am I using my Indian voice? But anyways, let's react to it. Let's go.
$1 of gas.
$1 of gas. $1 of gas. Okay.
36-year-old Cuban immigrant Julio
Bruh, look at this guy. Bro, this dude looks like he escaped from a mental hospital.
Gonzalez showed up at a nightclub in the
Joao
Bronx.
Guns.
He wanted his
Okay, I don't know what to
ex-girlfriend
say.
back. She said no. Gonzalez started screaming at her, and the bouncer kicked him out. So Gonzalez walked to a gas station, bought $1 of gasoline, walked
$1 of gas is okay.
back, and poured it at the bottom of the club's only staircase.
Okay, that's way too far. Bro, look at this guy, bro. What happened to your hair, my bro?
Then he lit 2 matches.
Oh my god, he lit 2
fire exits, no alarms, no sprinklers. The fire department had already ordered the place shut down.
Wait, let's go back.
Gonzalez started screaming at her, and the bouncer kicked him out. So Gonzalez walked to a gas station, bought $1 of gasoline, walked back, and poured it at the bottom of the club's only staircase. Then he lit 2 matches. The club had no fire exits, no alarms, no
But wait, is this those things that I always see in the shop? I've always wondered what these things are, bro. I've always wondered, but now I finally realize it's sprinklers, however you say it.
The fire department had already ordered the place shut down. 87 people died in minutes.
What the hell? Wait. Let's go back 10 seconds.
Then he lit 2 matches. The club had no fire exits, no alarms, no sprinklers. The fire department had already ordered the place.
Look at this guy, bro. What the heck? Okay.
Shut down. 87 people died in minutes. Most of them were young Hondurans out celebrating Carnival.
What the hell?
None of them had ever met Gonzalez. His ex-girlfriend, the only person he was actually angry at, walked out alive. Gonzalez went home, changed his clothes, and went to sleep. Cops found him the next morning and he told them everything. He was found guilty on all 87 counts and died in prison in 2016. When police asked why he did it, he said he never meant to hurt anyone. He just wanted to get back at his ex. Take her down. In 2019, Ina and David Steiner ran a small newsletter about eBay called E-Commerce Bites. One day, Ina wrote an article about how much eBay's CEO, Devin Wenig, made. He didn't take it well. He texted another executive about Ina and said, "Take her down." That executive told eBay's head of security, a former CIA officer, that he wanted to see ashes. So a team of employees at a $22 billion company got to work on destroying a couple who ran a blog. They sent live cockroaches and spiders to the Steiners' home, then a bloody pig mask, a funeral wreath, a book about surviving the death of a spouse. Then they flew cross-country, stalked them in person, and tried to break into their garage to plant a GPS tracker on their car.
What the hell? That's weird.
David Steiner noticed a rental car that kept showing up outside his house. He took a photo of the plate. Cops traced it back to an eBay employee. 7 people went to prison. eBay paid a $3 million fine. The Steiners sued and settled in 2026. All because someone wrote about
2026? Wait, which month? January? February? March? April? Okay, we already in April.
The CEO made. The Killdozer incident. In the early
Killdozer?
2000s, 52-year-old welder Marvin Heemeyer ran a muffler shop in Granby, a small town in Colorado. He got into a fight with the town over zoning. They approved a concrete plant right next to his shop, cut off his sewer line, and hit him with fines. Heemeyer tried to fight it the normal way. Nothing worked, so he tried it a different way. For 18 months, he secretly turned a bulldozer into a tank. Steel plates, a foot of concrete, gun ports, cameras on the outside. When it was done, he sealed himself inside. He wasn't planning on coming back. On June 4th, 2004, he drove it through the wall of his shop and into town. Over the next 2 hours, he flattened
Please do not tell me this dude tried to... Oh my god, never mind.
18 buildings. The town hall, a newspaper office, a former mayor's home, the concrete plant that started it all. Police shot at him over 200 times. Nothing got through. It ended when the bulldozer got stuck in a hardware store basement. Heemeyer was later found dead inside from a self-inflicted wound. No one else was hurt. When police searched his home, they found tapes. On them, he said God told him to do it. The manifesto.
This film
Okay,
told the
why is
story
there
of
an
a
ad here?
mixed
There's
club
not supposed to be an ad
mid-holiday.
here. Wait.
Discover.
Wait, how do I get rid of this? Okay.
To do it. The Manifesto. In 2007, LAPD officer Christopher Dorner reported his
Christopher
training
Dorner?
officer for kicking a handcuffed man in the face. The department said he was lying and fired him. Dorner spent 5
Damn.
years trying to get his job back. He appealed again and again. He lost every time. So on February 3rd, 2013, the 33-year-old posted an 11,000-word manifesto naming over 40 people he blamed for ruining his life. Then, he started killing. His first targets weren't cops. They were Monica Kwan, 28, and her fiancé Keith Lawrence, 27, shot in a parking garage. Monica's dad was the captain who had defended Dorner at his hearing. Dorner blamed him for not fighting hard enough. In the manifesto, he wrote, "I never had the opportunity to have a family of my own. I'm terminating yours." After that, he started going after cops, killing one and wounding others. It became the biggest Southern California history. The LAPD got so jumpy, they shot up 2 trucks driven by people who looked nothing like Dorner. Midway through, the department reopened his case to try to get him to stop. It didn't work. 9 days later, police cornered him in a cabin in the mountains. The cabin caught fire, and Dorner was later found dead inside from a self-inflicted wound. 4 people dead, and after all of it, the LAPD still said they were right to fire him. The Sunday service. On November 5th, 2017, 26-year-old Devin Patrick Kelly had a problem with his mother-in-law. He'd been texting her threats for weeks. She went to First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, a tiny town of about 400 people. So that's where he went. That Sunday morning, Kelly put on black tactical gear,
Is that an
skull mask,
AK-47?
grabbed a rifle, and drove to the church. He
It's not a
walked in
rifle,
during
it's
the
an
service,
AK-47.
went up and down the aisle, and fired around 450
Ew.
rounds into the pews. 26 people died. The youngest was 18 months old.
Ha!
The oldest was 77. Almost half were kids. His mother-in-law wasn't even there that day. He did kill his wife's grandmother. But the other 25 people had nothing to do with whatever was going on in his family. A neighbor heard the shots, grabbed his own rifle, and shot Kelly as he came out.
Damn.
Kelly got in his car and took off. A local man chased him at 95 miles an hour until Kelly crashed. By the time police got there, Kelly was found dead in the vehicle. It was the deadliest mass shooting in Texas history.
Damn.
All of it started with a family argument. The consulate incident. Jamal Khashoggi was a 59-year-old Saudi journalist who wrote for the Washington Post. He wrote about
Bro,
things the
looks
Saudi
nothing
government didn't want talked about.
Bro, this
The Crown
dude
Prince,
does not
Mohammed bin
look
Salman, didn't like that. On September 28, 2018, Khashoggi needed paperwork so he could marry his fiancée. Because he was a Saudi citizen, he had to get it from the Saudi
He does not
consulate
look
in
like a
Istanbul,
Saudi
Turkey.
citizen,
He
bro.
walked in, and they told him to come back on October 2nd. So he came back. His fiancée drove him there and waited outside. Before he went in, he told her to call a friend in the Turkish government if he didn't come out. He never came out. Inside, a 15-man team sent from Saudi Arabia was waiting for him. They strangled him within minutes. Then they cut his body into pieces.
Damn.
One of the team put on Khashoggi's clothes, his glasses, and a fake beard, and walked out the back pretending to be him. What the Saudis didn't know was that Turkish intelligence had bugged the building. They had audio of the whole thing. Saudi Arabia changed its story 4 times. First, he left alive. Then it was a fistfight. Then an accident. Then finally, they said it was planned. The CIA said the Crown Prince ordered the killing. He was never charged. His fiancée waited outside that consulate for 10 hours before she accepted he wasn't coming out. All he did was write some newspaper columns. The long game. In 2007, a gossip website called Gawker published an article outing billionaire Peter Thiel as gay. Thiel was a co-founder of PayPal and one of the richest men in tech. He didn't say a word about it publicly, but he didn't forget. For the next few years, Thiel quietly put together a team. He hired lawyers and former reporters to dig through everything Gawker had ever published, looking for anyone who might have a case against them. He hid the money behind a fake company so nobody could trace it back to him, and then he waited for the right lawsuit. In 2012, Gawker posted a sex tape of the wrestler Hulk Hogan without his permission. Hogan asked them to take it down. Gawker refused, and even wrote an article bragging about it. Hogan sued. Nobody knew that the man paying his legal bills was Peter Thiel. The case went to trial in 2016. The jury hit Gawker with $140 million in damages. The company couldn't pay. It filed for bankruptcy, shut down, and was sold off in pieces. Every writer and editor lost their job. Most of them had nothing to do with the article that outed Thiel 9 years earlier. He spent about $10 million, less than 1% of what he was worth. Gawker's founder didn't even know Thiel was behind it until after the verdict came in. He thought he'd been fighting a wrestler this whole time. The Seth Rogen movie. In 2014, Sony Pictures made a comedy called The Interview. Seth Rogen and James Franco play two journalists who land an interview with Kim Jong-un, and the CIA asks them to kill him while they're there. North Korea called the movie an act of war. On November 24th, Sony employees came to work and found skulls on their computer screens. A group calling itself the Guardians of Peace had broken into everything. They leaked unreleased movies, the social security numbers of nearly 50,000 employees, salary data, and private emails between executives making fun of celebrities and the president. Then they threatened 9/11-style attacks on any theater that showed the movie. Every major theater chain pulled it. Sony canceled the release. The U.S. government said North Korea was behind the whole thing. President Obama called Sony's decision a mistake, so Sony quietly released the movie online on Christmas Eve and in a few hundred small theaters the next day. North Korea denied everything, but they also called the hack a righteous deed, all over a Seth Rogen comedy. The Teapot Incident. Alexander Litvinenko was a 43-year-old former Russian spy who did something the Kremlin doesn't forgive. He left. He moved to London and started talking. He accused Russia's security service of running like a criminal gang and pointed the finger at Vladimir Putin. On November 1st, 2006, Litvinenko sat down for tea with two men he knew at a hotel bar in London. Both were former Russian agents. He thought it was a normal meeting. They had put polonium-210 in the teapot, one of the most toxic substances on Earth, radioactive. He drank the tea and went home. By that night, he was throwing up. His hair fell out. His organs started failing. It took 3 weeks to die. From his hospital bed, he accused Putin of ordering the hit. 2 days later, he was dead. The polonium didn't stop with him. It left traces at over 40 places across London. Hotel workers tested positive. Hundreds had to be checked. To kill one man, they set off a radioactive weapon in the middle of a city. The two men flew back to Russia. Britain asked for them back. Russia said no. One was later given an award by Putin for services to the fatherland. All he did was talk, but in Russia, that's enough. Time for some traffic problems. In 2013, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie was running for re-election. He wanted endorsements from Democrats to prove he could work across party lines. He asked the mayor of Fort Lee, Mark Sokoloc, for his. Sokoloc never gave it. On August 13th, Christie's deputy chief of staff emailed a Port Authority official. Time for some traffic problems in Fort Lee. He wrote back, got it. On September 9th, 2 of 3 toll lanes from Fort Lee onto the George Washington Bridge were shut down without warning. First week of school. Traffic backed up for miles. Kids couldn't get to class. Emergency vehicles couldn't get through. The mayor begged for help. When one of Christie's people was told about the kids stuck in traffic, he texted, "They are the children of Buono voters," referring to Christie's opponent. The gridlock lasted 4 days. When the emails leaked, the whole thing blew up. 2 aides were convicted. Christie denied knowing about any of it, but the scandal followed him everywhere. He had been the front-runner for the Republican presidential nomination. That was over. 32 million secrets. Ashley Madison is a dating website with one purpose: help people cheat on their partners. That's the whole pitch. The slogan was, "Life is short. Have an affair." By 2015, it had 32 million users. The site promised total privacy. You could sign up, find someone, and nobody would ever know. They even charged $19 to delete your account and all your data. Millions of people trusted that promise.
It's easier than you might It's easier than you might expect to draw a parrot. Start with an M.
Millions of people trusted that promise. In July 2015, a group calling itself the Impact Team hacked into Ashley Madison's servers and took everything. Names, home addresses, credit card records, private messages, all of it. They told the company to shut down the site or they would release it all. Ashley Madison didn't shut down. The company was pulling in $115 million a year. So on August 18th, the hackers dumped it all online. 32 million users exposed. Names, addresses, what they searched for, who they talked to, how much they spent. Government email addresses, military accounts, corporate logins. People got blackmailed within days. Marriages fell apart, careers ended. A Texas police chief took his own life after his email showed up in the leak. Toronto police linked 2 more deaths to the breach. The CEO resigned after his own leaked emails showed he'd been cheating on his wife too. The hackers said they did it because the company lied. That $19 delete feature didn't actually work. People paid to have their data erased, and it stayed on the servers anyway. 32 million people trusted a website with their biggest secret. The website couldn't even keep its own. The parking lot. Clara and David Harris were both dentists in Houston. They had it all: the big house, twin boys, and good money. Then, Clara found out David was sleeping with his receptionist. She hired a private investigator. On July 24th, 2002, he called and said David was at a hotel with the other woman. Same hotel where they'd gotten married 10 years earlier. Clara drove straight there with David's 16-year-old daughter Lindsay in the passenger seat. She found David and his mistress in the lobby, holding hands, and went after the woman. Staff broke it up and walked Clara to her car. Then she saw David walking the mistress to her SUV in the parking lot. Lindsay later said Clara told her, "I'm going to hit him." Then she floored it. The Mercedes sent David flying 25 feet. She turned around and drove over him again, then a third time. Lindsay was screaming and punching her the whole time. When Clara finally stopped, she walked over to her husband, held him, and kept saying she was sorry. He was already dead. The investigator caught the whole thing on camera. It was played at her trial. Her stepdaughter testified against her, and she got 20 years. The flight incident. On
This is
December
the last
20th,
one.
2013, a PR executive named Justine Sacco was about to board an 11-hour flight to Cape Town. Before she got on,
Cape Town?
she tweeted to her
That's
170
where I live.
followers,
I mean,
"Going to
I live.
Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding. I'm white." She thought she was making fun of white privilege. Nobody replied. She chuckled and got on the plane. While she was in the air with no internet, a journalist spotted the tweet and shared it. Then thousands of people shared it. Then hundreds of thousands. Midway through her flight, #HasJustineLandedYet was the #1 trend in the world. Strangers were tracking her flight. Someone went to Cape Town Airport to photograph her when she landed. Parody accounts popped up. Her employer saw the tweet and fired her before her plane touched down. When Sacco landed and turned on her phone, her life was over. She was Googled over 1 million times in 10 days. She couldn't get work. She barely left her house. Her family in South Africa told her she disgraced them. The journalist who kicked the
Wait, guys, should I search up Justine Sacco?
whole thing off
Before
expected
I
people
end the
would get
video?
over it quickly. They didn't. 170 followers, one bad tweet. Millions of strangers decided she deserved to lose everything. If you'd like to see more stories like this,
Okay, guys. I hope you subscribe to Simple Pain. If you don't, I'm coming to your house and tickling your toes. Goodbye.